Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
Welcome again to another great episode of Foxborough Central. I'm Bob Hickey, your host. Thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend with me and my guests as we learn about the people, organizations, and events that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. And if you've been a fan of Foxborough Central, you know I really do believe this, that Foxborough is a wonderful place, and one of the things that makes Foxborough great is the people who come together in a time of need. You've seen it before on this program with Hurricane Sandy. You've seen it time and again with the different volunteer groups. Now we have a timely volunteer event that's going on this coming weekend, June 1st. Read about it in the Foxborough Reporter, a local paper that gives us all the news we ever need. Volunteers at the upcoming Clean Up Foxborough Day can go from bagging it to boxing it, filling bags with litter they pick up, and then enjoying a boxed lunch when their labors are over. What does that mean? Clean up Foxborough? Foxborough is really clean already, right? Maybe not so much. I'm joined today by my guest, Jack Gothellette, our town historian, AJ Dooley, local entrepreneur. How are you both doing today?
Good. Fantastic.
Very good, doing fantastic. You know what? Nothing gets me going better than a good discussion about trash. So, Clean Up Day volunteers to get shirts, gloves, and lunch. That sounds great, but why are we doing this?
Well, if you walk around town,
and I do
very much at all, you are taken by a lot of sights and sounds that speak to the very, very core of who we are as a community. But there is also a prevalence of something that is totally at odds with a good community like this.
Are we talking trash?
That is the amount of litter on the side of the road. It is just beyond acceptance, really.
So this all started, and AJ Dooley, who owns Dooley Disposal, here in town, located on Mechanic Street. Mm-hmm. This all started because there was a picture in the newspaper, I believe, and the picture in the newspaper showed a lot filled with rubbish. And I think you were the one who had inserted that. You're wonderful, and this is a shameless plug to completely aside, but we've all been enjoying your series on the Foxborough's participation in the war between the states and the local angles and the people that made that a changing event here in Foxborough. And then had that juxtaposed with the trash and then the comments below it. That kind of hit right there. And so that's what you saw, I gather.
It is. I grabbed the paper that morning and I saw it in there, and I called Jack right away and reached out to him and said, you know, I think that we can do something about this, and here we are.
So, and for folks who may have seen that and thought, maybe the photographer just put a bunch of garbage together, you know, we're here in our beautiful studios at 28 Central Street, and this is our first full year here. But one of our volunteers, to give a shout out, Ray McKenna, he spent the better part of a day doing exactly that, going around our small property. And again, just the little alleys between the building and the next door neighbors. And he got an extraordinary amount of rubbish, and he got a shout out at one of our board meetings because it was a lot of work. And so if it's that much work for this one building that is nestled in between all these others here in the center of town, I can just imagine what we're talking about. You're talking about highways. What are we talking about?
Well, virtually everywhere people go.
Everywhere.
It's interesting that in 2012 at town meeting, when we were discussing some zoning that would force new housing to be environmentally sensitive with its wiring and construction material, I got up and said, I think we have a greater need than going green. It's going clean. I said at that time, our throughways are becoming pewways. I mean, they get this stench of litter. And with the exception of trash barrels on the Common and one in front of Memorial Hall, where are the others? So even those people very much inclined to throw something away would have trouble doing it. You got to take it home with you. But just as an example, Saturday I went to the JC Fair on the Common and was immediately pulled away when I looked down at the Vietnam Korean monument.
Yes.
I walked down there and pulled up as much trash as I could hold in 2 hands. Now that is on the town common at a Veterans Memorial. What could be more unacceptable?
Which is really our centerpiece for our community, our town common, and then the beautiful memorials that are honoring the veterans of the past. It's a shameful way to be viewed, and so I certainly do. I sense your frustration, but also the plan is in place. It's one thing to complain, and I love, by the way, the taglines, the throughway becomes a peway, and I hope you'll let me steal that for a future column at some point, because I love that. I love a good tagline. But we're talking about what do we do about it now. So trash is always a problem. For those of us growing up in the 70s, we remember the Indian chief overlooking the Los Angeles freeway with a tear coming down, give a hoot, don't pollute. So 30 years later, here we are, it's still a real issue. And so, AJ, what are we doing about it?
Well, on June 1st, we are...
This coming Saturday.
This Saturday.
For those of you at home, it's not next Saturday, it's this Saturday.
This Saturday, we're getting volunteers to go out, and basically we have routes and areas of the town that we're gonna hit, and get the streets cleaned up and get it back looking the way it should be.
Sounds like a lot of organization, and you two are chairing this project?
Right at the start. AJ was into this 100%. He has been able to speak to various suppliers of his to get them on board. There were just certain key elements. Willing hearts and helping hands are desperately needed. They're the key, but they can't function alone. You need trash bags, you need gloves, you need this, you need that.
Sure.
It's got to be that support network. And it has come together even to the point when it's all over, then get a box lunch. I mean, come on, it doesn't get any better than that,
great.
Right? But so that you need permits from town officials and things like that. Everybody's been most cooperative. We have different clubs and organizations that say they're going to reach out to their members. It's so critical, the need right now to get cleaned up. But at some point too, I think we have to become more sensitive to making everybody understand that litter is unacceptable in Foxborough. We've got to have some signage, we've got to have some education, we've also got to have some disposal opportunities. Yes, responsible
more bins
people,
out and
responsible people can take it home, but I mean, not everybody is that tuned in to the litter problem. So make it easy, give them no excuse.
You know, and you're absolutely right, Jack. And part of it is in education. I think that, me as just one American among many, I'm much more aware of the litter issue, the litter problem, recycling, and the importance of it. Foxborough is one of the top communities in the Commonwealth as far as recycling per customer. So we certainly can hold our heads high as far as doing our part, but that doesn't mean we're doing enough. Correct?
Correct.
So with this project, AJ, it sounds like a lot of work is going into it. And if I could just read a little bit more out of this, while the volunteers are bagging and boxing on June 1st, they will be wearing shirts provided for the occasion by Dooley Disposal Services.
Yep.
Everybody gets a shirt?
Everyone gets a neon green safety shirt.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yep.
And they'll be using bags and wearing work gloves provided by Larry Stern of Supreme Industrial Products in Taunton. Bottled water, courtesy of Stop and Shop manager Daniel St. Laurent, will quench their thirst, and when their labors are ended, lunch will be provided by Antonia's Deli in Foxfield Plaza, courtesy of Antonia Ezio and Jack towards Yellow. And as trash bags are filled, they'll be picked up by Dooley Disposal Services for transport to recycling and disposal facilities.
Correct. We also got one other person who stepped up. We got United Site Services donated 2 portable toilets. So when we're up at the Common having lunch,
Wow.
That'll be accessible for
So
the
it
people.
sounds like a lot of companies are pitching in to make this work. Stop and Shop and Antonio's, and then your suppliers. So, meet at the Common.
No, we have. We're going to have a few posts set up. We're still working on that right now, but basically we're looking at Town Hall, the high school, the Borough School, Payson Field, and I'm leaving out one.
South Foxborough, down Taylor School, anywhere?
I'm leaving out one.
Well, you know what? If I was coming out to volunteer, you would want me to go to one of these locations.
Yeah, that
But what
will
if I
be
was
published.
planning my day? How do I find out?
Well, we're going to send out an email to everyone asking them where we would like them to meet us, and it's going to have something to do with how many people they have, what side of town they live on, and then other people are making recommendations of where they would like to clean up, which is huge. You know, we've had some people step out and say, you know, we're going to take care of, you know,
If I'm living on Mill Street, I'm thinking Mill Street
Exactly.
is probably a place I want to help clean up. Sure.
Exactly. So we're going to respond back to those people saying Mill Street's a great place to start, and you know, you could meet at the Taylor School, and then from there, then we'll dispatch.
Get your bags, get your shirts, get your instructions, and safety precautions. People are out on the side of the road. You have to exercise care.
So we are
all of
also
these
asking everybody this weekend to be careful and look out for the volunteers.
Yeah, but
So it's at 8 a.m. in the morning?
yeah.
Okay.
But what an opportunity. Now, as JJ mentioned, somebody that lives on the street, you have the opportunity to make a personal contribution to your own neighborhood. But for groups and organizations to have a scout troop come out, a sports team, one of the social fraternal clubs in town, church groups, anybody, as a group, we can make a statement. We can take back Foxborough. And we can be part of this whole effort that is just beginning to lift on the wings of its own power here. And to just make a statement, this is who we are. This is unacceptable. We're going to clean it up, and we're going to try our best to keep it that way.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention, and thanks to AJ for stepping up and making a project occur on such short notice, by the way.
Yeah.
This happened overnight. It was only 2 weeks ago that we read about this in the Foxborough Reporter.
But the paper came out that morning with the photo minute. My phone rang at 8:30. It's AJ. We're in a meeting at 11:30. This thing was off and running.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
That is fast. And you got all this together in that short amount of time. So for folks watching at home leading up to Saturday, there's obviously going to be the opportunity, I would imagine, to just show up at Town Hall or at one of these other muster points to say, hey, I'd like to volunteer. But what if I want to do a little pre-planning? What if I want to say, AJ, I'd like, my group, I've got 5 friends and we're in town and we want to do X. How do I get a hold of you?
So what people have been doing is we're encouraging people to go on to cleanupfoxboroughday.com.
Cleanupfoxboroughday.com.
Correct.
And you see that on your screen here, folks. Write it down.
that's Foxborough on the short spelling in that email.
The company way.
Right.
Yep.
But it would be helpful if people are interested in doing something like that to register now, because the more names we have, the further out we can plan the routes.
Sure.
So that we know we're going to cover more. Yes, by all means. Anybody showing up anytime under whatever conditions would be most welcome. But in terms of the planning, it would be helpful to have commitments so that we know what we're dealing with. And I mean, we've got to put in the order for the shirts. When
There
you
is
register,
that. There is that.
You say what size shirt you need.
This again, we're talking about creating a project, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. You mentioned ordering the shirts, but also Antonio's Deli, who's making this a great donation. They have to plan what's going to happen, and all these other companies, from taking away the rubbish bins to providing gloves. It's a huge undertaking as far as coordination. So great credit to you two for coming together and making this thing happen. It's truly a Foxborough thing that can be done, but many communities have the same issue, and it's all a matter of how you handle it and respond to it. Right. Do you just complain about it, or do you do something about it? Right. And so that's why I'm glad that you two came today to Foxborough Central. AJ Dooley, who owns Dooley Disposal, I'm going to give a shameless shout out now, because this is not the first time you've stepped up to do this sort of thing. Jack, I don't know if you know this, but during the Hurricane Sandy relief effort, we ended up with a little situation at the end where the donations were overwhelming. It was a wonderful, and Chris Long and Linda Walsh, dear friends and community leaders, did so much to put that day together. And as the first huge Ryder truck left to go down to New York, New Jersey to donate the clothes of the volunteers that sorted that morning, there was a second truck that came along because we had more than more. And we had, in fact, there's another pickup truck that went down with pet food and whatnot. So, on our third truck, we had to put the stuff in there. And that was after a 6-hour volunteer day. And then we looked and we realized, we've got trash. And folks at home may not know this, and he'll never tell you himself, so I'm going to tell you. Me being here in town, and I'm thinking, well, who do I call but our local friend AJ, who was actually at the middle school coaching his football team. And sure enough, half an hour later, after the game, or after the other game ended, he comes down along with his football players. And they took care of everything. They took care of the trash, and then the team pitched in, going to the sports teams and whatnot. Great credit. It was really, I'll say it was an emotional moment to see them come in and pitch in like that at the end of a hard, grueling day. They were swarming with gold jerseys, putting stuff in the truck, and made, many hands make for light lifting, which is, I guess, the message I'm trying to send out today. Everybody should come out on Saturday, June 1st. But, to see all those kids coming out of their time and giving like that was just, it hit you right here. So, it was really, that was a demonstration of how Foxborough can respond in an hour of need to a crisis
won that
situation.
Day, so we were all in a good mood.
Well,
we were all in a good mood.
So you're a double winner.
Exactly.
I think we all won that day. But that is the same type of vibe that I know is going to happen on Saturday at 8 o'clock all over town at the muster points as people come out and make a difference. Mm-hmm. Yes, Saturday, June 1st at 8 o'clock in the morning is the time for folks to come out and meeting at Town Hall. And the other places are?
The other places are, we got Town Hall, the high school, the Ahern School, Payson Field, and Borough.
There you go.
Are going to be the 5 spots.
There you go.
And one of the things also is, this isn't something where if you don't have 4 hours in your day to come out, that's fine. I think that if someone puts in an hour, 2 hours, fills up 1 or 2 yellow bags full of trash, I mean, that's getting us to where we want to be to cleaning up this whole town. So, people who look at this and think, oh, I can't, I got other stuff going on that day. That's fine. Come out and help us for as long as you can. Every bag full of trash is going to make a difference.
And this is also an idea that is a recurring theme. And garbage and trash and picking up your community are things that have been done with success in the past. So this is not a foreign idea. Oh my goodness, pick up trash. The National Honor Society has done this in the past. Scout troops in various target areas. The annual Camp St. Augustine Cleanup Day. But this is a town-wide event that is really targeting a deplorable situation right now, which is spring comes, snow fades, and wow, what do you have on the ground? Yep. So I'm going to read further. Volunteers can register and have a special shirt set aside for them by going to the Clean Up Foxborough Day website at www.cleanupfoxboroughday.com, spelled without the UGH. Or you can call Dooley Disposal Services at 508-543-1389. So people can call 1389 and get information also?
Yes.
And pre-register.
Yes, either
and
way.
That'll assure you of a shirt.
Correct.
So don't let the shirts run out. Call ahead.
There you go.
But also, I mean, the need is obvious. The capability of doing something about it is present here. People coming forward on something like this really speaks to the very core of the sense of community that makes Foxborough what it is. And this has been going on for since the beginning. As a matter of fact, on June 7th, we will have a program on the Common celebrating our sense of community that brought about the Meeting House in 1763. So we'll make a date for that too. But this is who we are. we are not a community that historically would wade through litter. It's not acceptable. So we've got to make this initial effort, and then we've got to make this a town statement that is unacceptable.
So it's more than just the one day as far as a feeling, and it's a project, yes, but I think what you're trying to insert into our public consciousness is that this is the way it should be. Foxborough should be a trash-free, because it's a matter of respect. It's a matter of how we view ourselves and how do we present ourselves to others. And people coming in, and very spot on with your comment about at the beginning of the program about picking up trash at the Vietnam War Memorial. That's not the way we want to be seen. I don't think that's the way any of us want to be seen. And also as a matter of respect to those who served and what the memorial itself is about. And I guess in the larger context, what the Common is about, because the Common is the center of our community, and it's the first appearance on Monday Night Football. It's how we're viewed. It's really where we gather. And if we have a trashy gathering spot, that says something about us.
Absolutely. Well said.
I cannot think of more to say about that because as I was thinking, wow, this is probably maybe a stepping stone to a broader project of how do you really create awareness. And as our town historian, Jack, and people at home may not realize that you work so hard to ensure that our Common stays true to who we are as a community by whatever definition you want to give, and you very jealously guard that historical context of who we are, where we've been, and what we will be 20, 50, 100 years from now. And when I served as a volunteer member of the Board of Selectmen, I remember so well you're coming up and educating us as to, gentlemen, ladies, this is your Common. You are the caretakers of this, but also the legacy of what will be 20, 50 years down the road is going to be built upon your decisions you make today. And so that was such a keen lesson for you to teach me many years ago, maybe not so many years ago, but many years ago. I love the fact that you're here and can talk about that in the context of this project.
Time spent educating you, my return on investment has been most rewarding.
Well,
but the Common is the physical and philosophical center. I mean, we've gone there to celebrate together, to pray together, to be together as a community, but also this is where we have opted to recognize, in addition to Memorial Hall, the men and women who have served our nation and the armed forces. There's also a memorial to firefighters,
yes,
and a memorial to police officers.
Yes.
Now, this area commands respect because we have said to each one of those names, people, promised each one of those people and their families we would never forget their sacrifice. So this is the area where we recognize that, and I think the pride that we have there has to radiate out to every section of the town, because this is who we are. This is what we are.
Well said, and then the roads leading into the Common, of course, will spoke out, and hopefully this project on June 1st will bring a sense of community and a sense of pride. And what better way to demonstrate that pride than to pick up a little trash and make it a little more beautiful.
Yeah, and then we plan on ending on the Common. So we're gonna.
And when you end on the Common, there's going to be box lunches for all.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
But this, when you look at the components of this, you have school children, you have clubs and organizations, you have the business community, you have the municipal community, you have everybody really able to play a part, and a very necessary part to make this work. And the sum total of all of our efforts is success beyond our imagination. Yep. We can do it. Well,
Well,
we can, we will.
We can do it, we will do it, we must do it, and only if you folks at home, and if you haven't already, I know you're gonna really think about it, but this Saturday, from 8 o'clock until you think you'll be wrapping up around 2, I understand.
I think we'll be picking up litter throughout the town till about 12, somewhere around there. Then we'll be going up to the center of town and enjoying our lunch for our hard work that we've put in.
And I got to tell you, that's probably going to be a pretty cool place to be.
Yeah.
Everybody having worked hard to make Foxborough a little more beautiful and to get a little reward and see all the bright neon shirts. I'm sure that's going to be quite the scene.
It will be. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to seeing that also. So for folks at home who haven't gotten the message yet, I'm going to give it to you one more time. On June 1st, this Saturday, meet AJ, Jack, and all the others who are taking some time to volunteer and make Foxborough a little more beautiful. You can do it too with your organization or just as an individual. Log on to, I'm going to say it right this time, www.cleanupfoxboroughday.com, or you can contact Dooley Disposal Services at 543-1389. AJ, I understand that folks at your shop also are volunteering their time.
Yes, pretty much all my employees are going to be there helping out after they're done with their work. We got to do our household trash that day, and then they'll be going out afterwards and picking up the stuff.
So they're going to be doing their regular job, and then they're going to be volunteering.
Yeah, because of the holiday, we'll be
Sure.
working that Saturday.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a long day. You know what? Hopefully, many hands will make for light work, and the intent of this day, I'm sure, is functionally to make Foxborough better. But of course, the offshoot, as with all these community projects, Jack, and I'm sure you'll agree, is that it really gives you a real positive feeling for who we are as a community.
Absolutely.
Jack, I'm going to give you the last word because we are, of course, running out of time in this episode of Foxborough Central. The Clean Up Foxborough Day. I'm looking forward to it. I hope folks at home are also. It's this Saturday, June 1st.
And we hope to see everybody there because it's not only for a purpose, but it's for sharing our love for the community, sharing our love and respect, and making this happen.
Jack Alfollette, AJ Dooley, two people who
AJ,
really...
you're the best.
Thank you.
AJ is the best. Well, you heard it here. AJ is the best, and you will be too if you come out to the Clean Up Foxborough Day this Saturday, June 1st at 8 o'clock. There's 5 locations around town for you to meet. I can't remember them all. You saw them on the screen. Town Hall is where I'm going. I hope to see you there. As with always, hope you enjoyed this episode of Foxborough Centrals. We got to learn about a great event that's going to make Foxborough an even better place. Thanks also to all the volunteers who make this a great program. Deb Storrs behind the camera along with Mr. Gookin, and my friend Gary Nash behind the glass, Executive Director Michael Weber, who puts it all together and makes us all look beautiful. Right, Jack and AJ?
Correct.
You got that right.
All right, 2 or 3 of us look good today. Anyway, Foxborough, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you this Saturday. Take care.